Don't get me wrong, the living in Europe is unbelievable. Like, I think I mentioned it to you, like I was buying my meat from a butcher and I was asking him and I'm like, yeah, like where do you get your meat from? He goes, oh, my farm. I'm like, oh, sweet. Like, and I was trying to say like, okay, like what are you feeding them? Like, I'm curious with that stuff, right?
Yeah, me too.
And, right? I'm like, what are you feeding them? He goes, oh, just they're on my farm just eating the grass. I'm like, oh, sweet, grass-fed beef and
sick.
And he goes, yeah, this section here was basically slaughtered last week. I'm like, this might be the freshest steak I've ever had in my life compared to what we have here in Canada. So like the living there is awesome. Mind you, the steak is dirt cheap over there too compared to what it is over here.
Get us on this government thing. Isn't that wild when we have all the beef, all the farms, and we're not getting fresh?
It drives me nuts, bro.
Right?
And we're getting it. I was literally just left Costco. I dumped the stuff, put this shirt on, in here, and it was like 8 steaks for like $88, and they're
crazy.
Not grass fed. I guarantee that.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy. Welcome everybody to Tangle One Podcast. We're starting off hot today. I'm your host Tony Smith. We got Mike DeFazio with me as always.
What's up?
Bringing on our guest today is going to be Cristiano Digiacinto.
You got it.
I
Okay,
got it the
it's
second
there.
time. I'm trying so hard, man. It's like I've been pronounced. That's the problem. Is I've been pronouncing it like wrong, literally for like the last 3 months that you've been here. But I never say it to you, so it never gets corrected.
Yeah, no, it's
just don't know any better.
It's like I said. I've heard everything. I've heard my name be butchered so much where I'm just kind of used to it now, and it's you get the straight point across, like you said. As long as you get the O at the end, it's an Italian name.
It's Italian.
Then we're good,
Cristiano's a hockey player with a pretty good background, pretty cool story. Played for the Spits, which means that people love that around here. Right?
Yeah.
Play for the Spits, it's better than being a professional NFL player. Like, it's like they get more fame around here than anybody. It's awesome to see when the Spits are good, and you were part of those great teams.
Yeah.
And then now plays in Italy, and we brought him on here. We thought you have a great story to share.
Yeah,
I just love talking like sports too, and and the performance behind it, the mindset behind it. So man, welcome to the show. And let's do this.
Yeah, guys, listen, I appreciate you having me on, being here the past 3-4 months. I get to see you guys in here doing your talks and being in this cool space. And I was hoping I'd be able to chat with you guys. I've been listening to you guys, I've been seeing what you guys do, and I'm excited to be here, man. I can't thank you both enough.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's been cool because we're always here and we're doing this show and we always see you walking by this window while we're recording. And so you've been our tester of how focused we can stay while there's like a workout going on outside our window. Yeah,
and it's cool because the workout that you guys do is I feel like it's so much different compared to what you guys are doing most days.
Right, like these guys. So we can get right into that, I guess. You run your performance business out of here. You started by sending some online clients here, and now you're in your performance business. But you're really training hockey players for the season, but also for tests, very specific.
Exactly.
Right?
So I mean, for hockey players, a lot of compound movements, big movements are going to be similar to what you do. We have our trap bar deadlifts, we do our bench, we do our pull-ups, but my biggest focus for these kids, especially going into bigger seasons, they're playing against, bigger players, they're getting older, is how can we develop in the gym so it correlates directly to the ice. So a lot of things, a lot of exercise we choose to do, a lot of speed work, things like that, plyometrics are all going to transition to their stride, how they're skating, how physical they are, how they protect the puck, how they shoot, things like that. And so far it's been unbelievable this summer. It's been great.
That group that you have is special. And we say kids, they're kids, I guess, compared to all of us, especially to me. But we're looking from all the way from 16 to
about 20 years old, and I've worked with kids from 10 years old. I've worked with pros that are 28, 29. But this group we have here, they're pretty special. A lot of them are just starting junior or maybe a year into junior, where they're playing against guys that are from 16 years old to 21. So it may not seem like a big age gap, but in those years, it definitely can play a factor. So having these kids, they're out of their minor systems. They're trying to make that next step, whether that be, school or OHL, junior, or eventually pro. This is the kind of step that they need to take, the steps that I took and all, pro athletes take to really make that jump to the next level.
Yeah, and it's cool too in terms of your training because you're working with a group. We do a lot of kids here, but mostly kids, children, right? But you're able to work with this group they're able to do things because they have strength, they have some stability already, they have that foundation.
Exactly.
And now you can get a little bit more complex. You can add you guys are doing those heavy ass banded deadlifts. Like that's something, with a child or with even a few years younger, 14, we're working on like stabilizing those joints.
Exactly.
Them so that they can handle shit like this. Right?
Yeah, later on.
And you're 100% right. Like when I'm with 10-year-olds or 12-year-olds, right, we're doing stuff that's gonna build that foundation, similar movement styles, but again, they're not lifting 300-400 pounds on a deadlift, right? They're learning that stability, they're building that foundation. So as they get older, as they progress up to the junior and the pro programs, they have an idea, they know what they're kind of getting themselves into. Now we can build off that, as opposed to getting a 20-year-old who's never been in the gym maybe and is just kind of learning. These guys have that foundation, so it's a lot easier for me because I'm not really explaining everything to them. I say, okay, we have exactly. So I'm not, sticking on form. I'm more so now. All right, let's challenge ourselves. Let's go a bit harder. When we're doing our strength phases, let's lift a bit more. Or when we're doing our speed stuff, let's improve on that a bit, right? As opposed to, okay, we have to make sure we're doing triple extension, make sure our form's good, things like that. It's a bit easier on kind of my end, right?
Yes, yeah. Austin and I watch you train all the time, and it's always our joke. I said, he's the first hockey trainer who's doing things right. Like we say that all the time, and I know that's not the truth. But my experience with youth sports and a lot of people that advertise themselves as hockey or football or soccer, doesn't really matter. The sports performance training for youth are really ripping a lot of parents off, in my opinion, because they're chasing around, they're touching cones, and there's a time and a place for that.
Yep, for sure.
Like you can't develop strength and power, agility without stability in those joints and without strength. You need I said strength and power, but you can't develop power and speed without strength. You need to have that strength component.
Exactly.
Because that's what's going to drive those other two.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are getting ripped off. Like, these kids need to be doing more squats as children.
Yes.
They need to be learning.
No, you hit the nail on the head.
They plant their foot properly when they go to make their cut, and they're not blowing out their knees.
Exactly.
And I've been watching you do that, and you have great care to what you do, and it's really
I appreciate that.
It's been
Thank
inspiring,
you.
and it makes me, you're in my building. It's your business, but you're in my building, and that means a lot to me because you do represent us in a lot of ways.
For 100%, and that's why with my group especially, we chatted a bit about respecting the space, but respect is earned, and I want these kids to have fun. I want to enjoy the summer. I don't want them to dread coming into the gym. I want them to learn. I want them to enjoy it. I want them to improve. But at the same time, let's enjoy what we're doing. Why are we doing this? What do you want? What are your goals? How can we achieve those goals? And that's kind of, with 4 months, it may not seem like a lot of time for hockey players in the off season. So we have to, like you said, you have to, from the end of the season, rehab any injuries, build up a little bit of foundation from the playoffs to, all right, now we have a couple months. Let's increase our strength, because as the season gets closer and closer and closer, we need to make sure we've built enough strength to now we can start transitioning that to power and speed. So when you get on the ice, not only do you feel strong, but you're feeling quick. And for these junior kids, a lot of them are trying to really put on weight, right? They're playing against kids that are not the same age anymore. They're bigger, they're stronger, they're older. So how can we, build up some size, build up some strength, and then maintain their speed near the end of summer to where, okay, I'm feeling good, I'm feeling comfortable in my body, I'm feeling comfortable on the ice. I can go and perform and not have to worry about anything else.
It's huge.
Yeah. So are you giving them like meal plans too for some of these scrawnier kids?
Yeah. So, so at the beginning of the year,
these guys.
At the beginning of the year, and we did a 3-day food log. So I was kind of seeing what they were kind of based on, and each session I try to give them some sort of knowledge that I've learned over the years, or maybe I'm learning now. As trainers, you guys know we're always learning. Things are changing all the time. Yeah. So. Really emphasizing, their protein intake and making sure they're getting proper food in. Like, we're not just trying to bust up calories, right? We're eating the proper things that are going to help fuel our body to perform, right? And as a professional athlete now, I've realized over the past 3-4 years how important your recovery and your food and everything you put in your body is. And you guys know that. Like, you go and eat something not right, you're feeling it now, right?
Yeah, sure. And even more so, the more high octane you put in, the more you feel the shitty stuff.
It's true.
Older than you too.
No, it's true.
I think it's like the more time you have eating clean, like staying, like sugar, for example, like with doing things like 75 hard, like I've noticed where if I cut out sugar for 75 days, the first time I have sugar after that, it's like I never felt this feeling before. But it's because you're like, it's like it like tapers down when you're away from it from so long, and when the second you have it again, it's the worst feeling ever. I get headaches now, and I have sugar. It sucks.
It's crazy.
It sucks. I actually don't even enjoy it anymore. That's the cool part.
I mean, not all the kids in there are scrawny though. You got a couple with big hockey dumpers on them, right?
And that's
dumpers.
Kids a
he can lift,
truck.
man. He's a truck, and I'm excited, man.
Him. He comes over, I'm making an espresso, and he goes, "Hey, my dad says hi," and I'm like, "You motherfucker! Like, what do you mean your dad says hi?" I thought he was chirping me because I was like in my workout, and this kid's over here with 600 pounds with a grandma. I thought he was chirping me in my own place. And he's like, I don't know him. I don't know his name. He introduced himself, but there's 5, 6 of them. Like, I'm like always passing by in and out. I see him for 5 minutes, and he's like, "No, you played football with my dad." I'm like,
"Come on!"
I'm like, "Are you serious?" I played high school football with his father.
No way.
Funny. That was like holy fuck, I'm old, man. This guy's in here. He's 17, 18 years old. He's going for the OHL, and he's like, but I thought the kid was making a smart ass remark to me. I'm like, wow, the balls on this kid. He's 600 pounds deadlift, walks over and chirps.
Chirps, it goes right back to it.
Yeah. But he was being so sincere. He's like, no, my dad actually says hi. I'm like, oh, okay, never mind. Not that anymore.
That is a damn heavy deadlift though. 600.
Yeah, man. Yeah. What I think with your performance training, and we don't want to spend this whole podcast on training, so stay in here if you're here for other things about Cristiano and our the stuff. But the thing I really appreciate with what you're doing, and it's something like I said it right on one of the Instagram posts I did with you. It's like, you know what? Could I provide them with a similar program? Probably. For sure. Yeah. I know I could with the X's and O's of the programming. But what I can't provide was I watched you sit with them before or after class and talk about the tests they're going to take.
Yeah.
And the mindset that's going into those tests. And like how you're going to feel, what the coaches are looking for. I mean, if you're not cheating, you're not trying on those tests.
Yeah.
Right? Like if they're going to allow a kipping pull-up, do a kipping pull-up because it's easier.
Seriously.
Right? Like you were giving them that like hands-on, this is how it's going to be, what to expect. And I think that's the value that's like above and beyond a program.
Mm-hmm.
And the buy-in. These kids have buy-in with you.
Yeah. And
if they buy in, they're gonna do well.
And that's the thing.
I think a lot of trainers miss out on.
Yeah, like when I'm in here, I'm giving 100%. I want that same thing back. And every single kid in that group has given me that. And I will work with anyone at any skill level if they're going to give me everything they got. So there's going to be some discrepancies from, a high-end junior player to a AAA or AA kid, right? But if you're going to give me everything, I'm going to do my best to help you out, right? And I think the biggest factor to that was my mentor, in Hamilton when I first started training myself and got into, personal training, coaching. I had such a great, mentor in Adam Lloyd, a trainer and gym owner like yourself. You guys, you're very similar to him. When every time we talk, it kind of reminds me of him. And he's worked with pros. He's worked with the Arizona Coyotes, now in Utah. But he's worked with me, myself, and all pros in Hamilton. And it was the same way. After our session, we got to sit down, we stretch it out, we're chatting. And anytime I, want to call with him or when we're sitting down after, it was the same thing. So I was very fortunate to have that kind of trainer growing up, to see that. And being in the business now and in the field, you don't see that very often. And that's something that I take more than, coming in and doing my deadlifts, doing my benches. I'm taking in experiences and how they react, and that's something I'd like to give, and that's something I think that's a benefit to, playing pro hockey. But, if I can give that to these kids, that's something that I had growing up and I was very lucky to have, and I just want to give the same thing back.
It's amazing.
That's amazing, yeah.
So I know you want to talk about probably moving away. That's what you want to talk about with every guest. So let's get into that.
I definitely thought about it for sure.
Got recently married just a month ago. Congratulations!
Thank you.
Yeah, congrats, man. It's amazing. You got a lot going on down here. So you're moving back, or you're just going back to play?
It's very confusing.
Yeah. So
do it because you just bought a house here, right?
Yep.
So you bought a house here. You're living here now.
Yep.
You guys are married now. And you're just going there to play for a season? Like,
exactly.
How does that work?
So basically,
I don't know sports.
Like I never even watched the full hockey.
No, I don't even know hockey.
Well, you're gonna have to now. I'm gonna be sending you guys a link. And
that's my boy.
That's it.
Before Cristiano came in here for his first meeting, Danny's like, I think you guys are gonna like this guy. He's gonna come in here, and I pull up your videos. To watching him play.
Couple highlights, couple fights. Yeah. But basically how the hockey season goes, similar to what an NHL or NFL, any pro sports season might be. You have your on season and then of course the off season. So usually with pro hockey and junior, we're starting anywhere from August to September. To the NHL starts in October. You play through the season, and depending how far you go in the playoffs is kind of when the season ends. So for me, the league I'm in now, I'm in an Austrian. It's called the Ice Hockey League in Europe. And it starts, I leave Saturday, and I'm gone basically till April, playing my season. And I'm over in Italy in Bolzano, playing there all year. And then once the season's done, I'm back here in the summers. And
so what's the name of the team?
The team's the Bolzano Foxes.
And they're in the Austrian league.
It's an Austrian league.
However, and you're in Italy.
Yeah, so there's
Bolzano
three.
is a town in Italy?
Yes, right, northern Italy, right by the Austrian border. There's 3 Italian teams, and the rest are all Austrian. I think 1 Hungarian team, but it's an Austrian league technically. They have Italian hockey leagues as well, but there's 3 kind of teams from Italy that play in this Austrian league.
Man, there's no way, mark my words, within the next 2 years that house over here in Amherstburg is going to go up for sale, and you are going to be European living.
No, I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. The living in Europe is unbelievable. Like, I think I mentioned it to you. Like, I was buying my meat from a butcher, and I was asking him, and I'm like, yeah, like, where do you get your meat from? He goes, oh, my farm. I'm like, oh, sweet. Like, and I was trying to say, like, okay, like, what are you feeding them? Like, I'm curious with that stuff, right?
Yeah, me too.
And, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you feeding them? He goes, oh, they're on my farm, just eating the grass. I'm like, oh, sweet, grass-fed beef, and
sick.
And he goes, yeah, this section here was basically slaughtered last week. I'm like, this might be the freshest steak I've ever had in my life. Like compared to what we have here in Canada. So like the living there is awesome. Mind you, the steak is dirt cheap over there too, compared to what it is over here.
Get us on this government thing. It's not wild that we have all the beef,
yeah,
all the farms, and we're not getting fresh.
It drives me nuts, bro.
Right?
And we're getting it. I was literally just left Costco. I dumped the stuff, put this shirt on, ran here, and it was like 8 steaks were like $88, and they're
crazy.
not grass fed. I guarantee that.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy.
It's nuts.
You being on that border, you're living in like a mountainous terrain.
Yeah. So basically the Dolomites, so the Alps. So basically my living there is. I was actually living on a winery the last 2 months I was there, and I'm like, I wake up, I go on my balcony, I get some sun, and I'm looking out, I'm like staring at mountains. I'm like, this is so surreal. I can't believe it. From playing in America and in Canada, like it was amazing. I played 3 years in the American League, which is one under the NHL. I was playing in Hartford, so we're the affiliate to the New York Rangers. And I loved it. It was a blast. It was amazing. It was a great experience. It was great hockey. You had great, arenas and staff and coaching and great players. But again, you're also in Hartford, Connecticut. I'm like, okay, it's just a typical, big city in the States, right? It's nice, it's fun, it's good. But then now I'm waking up on a winery in the mountains in Italy. It's like, this is crazy.
So tell me how this happens. You're in Hartford. You're playing in the AHL, which is where majority of your highlight films on YouTube were from, right? And I'm familiar with the AHL. How do you end up over there in Italy? Like, is there?
So
in Hartford, do you have to do you leave?
So it was actually a leave. So contracts in the American League, it's not like the NHL where you see guys signing 7-year deals for X amount of dollars. In the American League and minor pro leagues, it's usually 1-year deals. Sometimes you see the odd 2-3-year deals, but every year I was just re-signing 1 year, 1 year, 1 year. So I'm in Hartford this year, and as a player on the team, you have NHL contracts and AHL contracts. And I was a forward on an AHL contract, the only one there. And, I wasn't, after my 3rd year, I wasn't playing as much as I'd like to. I wasn't really getting much opportunity at that point. And I had an agent reach out and talk to me about potentially going over to Europe and talking to me about the benefits and, teams that are interested in you. And that's what they kind of do. These European leagues, they see some players that may be not getting the most ice time or most opportunity, and they want to bring them over to their leagues. And me being Italian, able to get my Italian citizenship.
I can pronounce this.
That's it, right? So they look for that, right? So they look for, Italian descent. They say, this could be a good fit for you. Would you be interested in coming over? And for me, it was a very tough decision. You're in the American League. You work your whole life to play pro hockey, especially being from Canada, trying to make the NHL. And for me, it was tough, but knowing, getting married this year, hopefully starting a family soon, I I kind of weighed out my options and decided, it might be best for me to leave and go have a different experience over in Europe. And I was fortunate enough to get that opportunity. So in February of this year, I had to terminate my contract, had to speak with the managers and the coaches. And the guys in Hartford were amazing. They were very understanding. They said, you know what, you got an opportunity to play in Europe on a great team and, have a good opportunity over there. We're not going to, if they wanted to, they could have said no. And I'm under contract. They could have just kept me. And at first, I thought that was kind of the case. It was kind of leading towards that. But then, like I said, the guys were amazing. They were awesome. They're like, yeah, you know why we see why you want to go over there. And they let me go. I went over and finished the season in Italy. We played 5 regular season games and hopped right into playoffs. We did really well. We lost in Game 7 of the semifinals in overtime, which was a bit heartbreaking. Left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. But, I talked to him again over the summer, re-signed for this year, and hopefully we can kind of go back and get some payback.
Do you think that was kind of that little turn that you had there, that 5 games plus playoffs, was that perfect actually, because it got you you got to go have a taste without fully committing?
Yeah, so...
Or did you know when you went there, I'm not coming back?
Well, yeah, a little bit of both. I mean, with 5 games, the game's a bit different over in Europe. It's a bigger ice surface, if you guys didn't know that.
I did not know that.
Yes.
Certainly.
Right, so it's an Olympic...
There's different sizes?
Yeah, so they call it an Olympic size ice, so it's actually a bit wider. So it's, it's a lot more skating, different systems in that sense, right? So it'd be like a CFL to NFL, right? 3 downs, you got to play it a bit different than 4, right? Mm-hmm. So there was a bit of an adjustment period, and those first 5 games were nice because I was kind of feeling it out. I'm in a different city, or a different country, I should say.
Yeah.
I'm in Europe, so I'm trying to see what's going on. I'm driving on these tiny roads in a manual little hatchback, and I'm up in the mountains. So I had that little adjustment period, and then come playoff time, I was good to go. So it was nice having that little adjustment, but I've been telling my wife the same thing. I'm excited for a full year of being there, being settled. I kind of know what to expect now, as opposed to when I first went there. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm walking myself into. Does everyone on the team speak Italian? I got to brush up on my Italian here, because how do I get around? How do I go buy food? How do I talk to the coaches?
Do you speak no Italian?
I speak a little bit, but now after being there for a bit, it's a lot better, right? So
it's crazy because I remember talking to my friends once who teaches different languages, and she's like, you can't learn Italian. There's 10 different types of Italian, and I'm like, what does that mean? I just want to learn. I want to go there at some point and speak it. She's like, well, which part? I'm like, what do you mean which part?
No,
is it like that?
You're 100% right. It's all dialects, which is crazy. Yeah. So I learned so much, growing up. My grandparents were Italian. They spoke Italian, and they're Abruzzo, so central Italy. And I go over to northern Italy. It's pretty similar, but my wife's parents, or father, is Sicilian. Yeah, right? So he's Sicilian. So I learned quite a bit in the 2 months I was there. And I come home and I'm talking to him. I'm like, this guy's mumbling. I don't know what he's saying. He's talking to his mother in Italian, or Sicilian, I should say, and it's almost completely different.
Really?
So I'm like, I'm trying. You catch a few things and you get the gist, but I'm like, what does this mean? He goes, oh, it's this. I'm like, no, it's actually pronounced this, and we're going back and forth. I'm like, okay, no, I get it. It's just it's the dialects, and you see that all over Italy. It's crazy.
Come on, it's not that big of. I've never been over there, so I don't even know how big it is.
So I'm Sicilian. What are you?
My family's from this tiny little island called Ponza. I don't know if you know where that is.
No,
it's like 2 hours from the coast of Rome.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a tiny little island.
So they'd even have that's the paisans. That's it. But it's crazy. The dialects they're kind of centralizing their language now. In schools, they teach just one strict language. But again, you go to these tourist spots or these different islands, like you said, and if the word ends with O, they might not even. They'll take out a couple letters, and you're like, "What's okay?" It sounds completely different than I thought. Yeah. Just too lazy for those, right?
How with those?
Yeah, exactly.
Just call the Sicilians lazy.
No, it's not Sicilian.
My mom's listening to this. Right? She's not gonna like you.
She's gonna come. She's gonna walk in here and grab you by your cheek.
All right, so it's even you heard in mafia movies, you hear capiche. Right, yep. And it's you understand, but it's capiscio, or they end it. So it's American Italian. This dialect's all over. They just change words up, but you get the gist. Right.
Get the gist.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So what was the biggest adjustment? The driving, the languages. Take the language out of it. That's an easy one.
Yeah, we had
the biggest adjustment. Any kind of cultural, like, take your shoes off, or it's not polite to wear.
Growing up Italian, you kind of have those same kind of mannerisms and kind of things around the house anyway. But yeah, like I said, hockey wise, it was definitely the systems. It's a lot more like outside, like perimeter work. In the American League, if I win a battle in the corner and I get to the net, I'm one stride, I'm at the net. This time I'm in the corner, I beat someone out of the corner, I'm going to the net. I have 3-4 strides to get to the net now. So it's a lot wider, and you're trying to attack the center, but if teams really defend the inside, you're just skating around the outside waiting for an opening. So things like that were a bit different. System-wise, that was the biggest adjustment. Off the ice, I haven't driven a manual car in 6-7 years.
I love it, man.
And that's the car they gave us. So I'm living in the mountains, and I'm driving a manual car. All the signs are half Italian, half German, because it's close to Germany.
Yeah.
I have no idea where I'm going, so I'm holding my phone on the maps. I'm trying to remember how to drive stick, and I'm going up a mountain. And not only that, the streets are tiny. They're as big as this room. So my little hatchback I'm driving is barely on the road. If another car's coming your way, I'm like phone, shifting. I'm like, what is going on? We got cyclists going up and down the mountain. I'm like, this is crazy. So like I'm driving the speed limit, and guys are flying by me, flipping me off. I'm like, what's going on here? Like I'm trying my best. Like they're flying over there, and it's just because that's just the lifestyle, I guess.
Damn.
I can't drive a stick worth of shit, man.
Really?
Well, I mean, I've done it. I can get through it, but it's not. It's a labor.
In a new country with a different language
in
the mountains, I was set up to fail.
Is it right-hand drive over there too?
No.
Oh.
No. So it's the same as here,
Okay,
which I'm
okay.
like fortunate of that at least.
Yeah,
I'm like, that would have been even
South
crazier.
America or Mexico or whatever, Central, and whatever, all those countries down there, we go to the rental car, they always want to give you stick.
That's
and I'm
it.
like, it's not the stick as much that scares me. I know I can over the course of the next few days, I can get it down.
Yeah.
It's the traffic laws and trying to make those maneuvers and that's, so I appreciate that very much. I don't in the mountains or in these you're gonna jump out in a stick shift in Mexico City. That.
And it's a free
car. I don't have to think, where I can focus all my thoughts on everything.
That's it, man. It's a free for you got guys on scooters, on Vespas, on bikes, on whatever, and just all right,
nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I remember even just driving in Mexico, there's lines on the road, but they don't mean anything. There's it's a 3-lane road. There's 4 cars wide. What is happening?
Well, apparently the green light thing. Did I tell you about my ticket?
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
you got a ticket in Mexico?
I got a ticket in Mexico. Well, I got out of the ticket in Mexico. Long story, but they had a flashing green before a solid green. It's green. Sorry, it's solid green. You're going through, and then it starts flashing green. Apparently, that was their yellow area I was in. So I'm like, I started kind of I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, are people gonna start turning left in front of me? I'm looking at this thing, and I go roll right through it. Turns red almost immediately. Get in there. Cop jumps out of the median and is like,
stops you.
What a great spot. He just you're flying through a red light, and he just jumps in front of you. I'm gonna stop him with my hand.
And then now we get into the whole I can speak but I can't speak, and he can speak but he can't speak, and the gist of it was it's 1,500 pesos.
Okay.
Or you gotta go pay it at the police station over there, he says. I'm like, okay. And then it's what is it now? Right?
Yeah.
And it's okay, boy, it's 1,000 now. And I'm like, no, come on, cabron. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm showing him my tattoos, my SWAT tattoos. I'm like, Policias de Canada.
Yeah.
No, amigos. He's like, no, amigos. Right? I'm like, amigos. He goes, okay, what do you say, 750 or something? I go 500 or 200, and he's like 500 sold. So he hands me the thing. I put the money in the booklet, handed it to him, and he's like, adios.
That's it, eh?
Back on my way to go enjoy my Mexican trip with my family.
That's funny.
It was yeah. So have you got any encounters with the police yet?
Not yet. No, I've been very fortunate with that.
Yeah.
So hopefully I don't. I mean, it's after the first week.
Canada hockey drunk down there.
Yeah, seriously. Well, that's the thing.
Also, some German dude with
Like even like
Old hands.
the first night we went out, I took a cab back, and the guy asked me where I'm going, and I'm like, I have to look on I don't even know my address. Like I somewhere up the mountain, man. Like just start driving. Hopefully I can figure it out. But,
Damn.
yeah.
That's crazy. Okay, so are you like a resident up there? Are you like do you have your citizenship, or like how does that work?
So I'm working on my citizenship right now. So I'm getting my paperwork together. But for this season, I'm on a visa, just a normal work visa. So same thing, you'd be in the States. So I had to send my passport to the consulate. They send it back. I got my work visa. Good to go.
Easy peasy.
Sweet.
So far.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah.
Until I get to the airport Saturday and I miss something.
But really, it's pretty easy to get. Italian descent to actually get.
Yeah. So if you have a relative that's, like my grandmother never became a Canadian citizen, so she was an Italian through her whole life, and I'm basically trying to get my citizenship through her. So it's I don't know how it is in other countries, but I know with Italians,
we're both Italian. We got questions.
I feel like my grandmother not being over my grandfather, like I had no Italian, like born in Italy, relatives left. I wonder how that's gonna be.
It's also just paperwork, like finding their marriage certificate, finding their birth certificates, and like these are old papers, man. Like these are hard to find, like hard to get through, and so it's a process, which I'm in the middle of it now, and hopefully it runs smoothly. It's easier that I'm working there, so like the team is helping me get all this stuff, which is nice.
Is real nice,
right? As opposed to being off the street just trying to do it yourself. It's a lot more difficult.
So is your plan to eventually move up there then?
I don't think I'd move up there. I mean, I'm gonna enjoy playing there for as long as I can, and enjoy playing pro hockey and being in Europe and exploring that sense, But for now, I tell people, I go, it's my job. Like I'm going to work, and they're like, you're going to work, you're going to the rink. Like I'm like, yeah, but it's just like
that's how you get paid.
I mean, and who knows what opportunities comes of this? Like there might be other European countries coming. You could end up in Russia. You could end up like
and that's
Sweden,
how it goes.
Finland, whatever. Right?
Yeah.
Like, so I think old man advice.
Yeah.
Just like live in the moment.
That's
enjoy.
it.
Like you're getting a true experience. Like even if somebody wants to visit Italy, they probably wouldn't end up where you are.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like,
well, it's a pretty big touristy spot because it's up in the mountains. A lot of skiers, snowboarders, things like that. But again, when people think
I've never heard of anybody visiting that.
Exactly.
Maybe if you're European, maybe you did.
Exactly. So they get a lot of the European tourists. If you're a tourist going to Italy, you want to see Rome, you want to go see Sicily, the Amalfi Coast, right? So like, there's other spots people go.
I think that's a cool opportunity that you're like really getting put into. Like,
right in it.
Like
exactly.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So. We every episode we got the Morning Wood. The Morning Wood is sponsored by my co-host
Mike's Wood.
Michael, whatever you can start calling it that if you want. Kind of weird for all of us, but Mike DeFazio, Reclaiming Artistry. Hit him up. Builds beautiful tables. Builds beautiful furniture. Rad stuff, as he likes to call it, and he can build anything you're looking for. Just hit him up. But our question from the guest today, and I think this was a good one. For our friend here, just pull it up on my phone. I love this one for you and for us to discuss because I think you're one right away who like this made. So this is how do you make connections with people in your field, mentors, leaders, partners, etc. And that's kind of just open to the floor, not just an interview of Cristiano, but an interview of all of us. So that's a question from our boy Dennis of Wind Creek. He's always contributing to the show, so we love you for that, Dennis. Thank you. So yeah, what do you think?
Yeah.
For you, like how are you're out there in Italy, what are some kind of tips you might have for somebody to go and like how are you seeking out mentors and making friendships?
Yeah, I mean, being a part of a team helps, right? So already going in there and knowing if you guys I'm with every day at work. So again, like just through colleagues, through people that you're around every day, but really to broaden that to even here, like meeting you guys this year, it's really just it's through things that you've already done or have already accomplished. Like for me, playing with the Spitfires, knowing the coaches here, word of mouth, getting around, and the big thing too is social media, right? Yeah. Seeing you guys post, seeing that you're at this new location now here, and seeing a friend of mine might have trained here once or twice or things like that. Building it off of those kind of experiences is what's helped me. And not being from Windsor specifically, like I haven't lived here since I played with the Spits, so 2017 was the last time I actually lived here. But just kind of going back and building off those friendships you had, or through people, through family, through friends, building it off like that is something that I've always done. And again, then once you do meet these people, it just builds off from there.
Yeah. And like Mike, so for you get dropped into these courses, you go up to Texas or Phoenix or wherever you're going. Don't know anybody. Walk into the seminar. I mean, you got Lisa with you. But how are you going to make a connection? Like, what's something you might do? You got to have a tactic for this.
I do and I don't. I mean, I kind of...
Other than the mustache.
I'm kind of just there, right? Like, other than the mustache. Yeah, I walk in and people just say, damn, look at that mustache. No, you too, bro. You got a good-looking mustache. Anyways, no, when we go to these events, man, I don't know. It's kind of like... You usually, when you're going to these events, you usually know at least one or two people because of social media, actually. You know, like if I find an event, there's 1,500 people going to it or something like that. There's usually a Facebook group or something like that. You can jump in there and see what people are saying. Start conversations that way, just to start to build the connections. And I think with social media, it's making it really not easier, but like it's giving you the opportunity to like be able to reach out to people and almost have like the ice broken. Because if you start following George on Facebook, you can see that George has a dog, and I got a dog, and you can say, man, you got a nice dog. You can start the conversation, and then at some point you might build on top of that. But it's about breaking the ice. If you can break the ice with something, even the smallest thing, that just kind of like
elevates the conversation.
Elevates the conversation. It's like you don't have to go in there like everyone says these days, give value, provide value, provide value. It's like you don't need to go in there with a book saying, I got something for you. It's like just go in there and be friends, man. Like be friendly to somebody. Like see if you can make their day. Like I'm actually reading the book How to Win Friends, how to Win Friends and Influence People right now. Okay. It's such a cool book. It's written in like the 30s.
Oh wow!
Really?
It's such a sweet
book.
book.
In the 30s. I've heard of this book. I would have never.
Yeah.
The 30s.
Neither did I. I started reading it and I was like, it's actually so sick. Like the way that they're talking in the book, but like they say that in that book, like the most beautiful thing someone can ever hear is their own name. So if someone like when you're meeting somebody, if you're saying like hey Cristiano, it's like it's not just hey man or hello sir. It's like there's a personal connection there. Okay. They will remember you more that way. They will have a better experience of who you are and of your you guys meeting. It's like it's different. There's ways to like connect with people that social media or in person, like you can connect with them on like a mental level, or maybe it's something to do with the heart. Yeah. But like they remember you different because of those things.
Nice.
Yeah. No, I think for me, breaking that down just maybe a little bit dumbing that down, I guess, is like, so first step is like actually putting yourself in these rooms. Yeah. For me, like I think a lot of people don't do that. I know in the fitness area, like that's very common, is to like not put yourself in a room with a bunch of people who own gyms, essentially your competition. Yeah. Or thinking too much. Like you might do the program, maybe you do a 6x3 deadlift and I do an 8x2. But like we're all kind of with the same education. But for me, any course I sign up on, it's like I tell Nikki and Danny, like, yes, we're making this investment. I'm going to learn something, but I am going to make at least one connection that's going to make a difference in this gym. Right. And then I make sure that when I go there, the X's and O's, that's good. I want to learn that, but you can learn that on the internet. Yeah. You can learn that. I want to make the connections with people who have similar focuses, or maybe doing something I'm not doing, or doing something that I want to do, and maybe that veers me away from doing it, or maybe it helps me, encourage me, or how to do it. Going to the one coming up in Scottsdale, there's a guy there who, he opened 18 gyms in 7 months or something. Wow. Like in all like this, I'm really interested to hear from that guy, because I tell you, doing 3 in 3 years seems near impossible to me. Right. I don't know you really want to hear this, because I want to know, like, should I keep going? Should I not? But for me, that is making sure I actually go up to those people and be like, yo, what you're doing is incredible. Like you said, it's like, Mike, it's nice to hear your name. Hey, Mike, I've been following you. What you're doing is incredible. Like how we feel when somebody comes up to this podcast. It feels so good. You feel great. And you want to give that person more now. It's like, how can I help you? Like, that's what I want to do.
Well, I think you guys have done a good job, especially you, Tony, just bringing that atmosphere, bringing that atmosphere into the gym. I remember my first day in this new facility, I had every member come and introduce himself to me. And that's not even the staff here. Yeah, dude. That's not even the staff here. And I'm like, this is but from the first day, I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah,
Like
the culture that he's built up here is insane.
right? And like you can come in if you're unsure, like, will this gym fit for me? Is this right? Like I go to a big box gym, I don't speak to anyone.
Yeah,
Like,
headphones on, bro.
Yeah, headphones on,
Yeah.
that's it. When I'm in here, I'm terrible with names, but everyone's introducing themselves to me. I'm like, this is where you want to be. This is where you want to improve. Because now every time you associate coming into this room, it's a friendly experience.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's you're welcomed, right? And that's what you want, especially, being an exercise fitness facility. That's something that's huge. It's going to help you keep coming back and reaching your goals, right? So like you said, with my little group, try to kind of mimic the same thing, and the same thing with all the classes here. It's welcoming.
Yeah, culture is a really easy thing to throw around, and
Yeah.
not everybody has a community. Like anybody can have a community. Not everybody has culture, and culture is this is how we do it here, and it can be bad culture as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing we've really hammered here is the culture and making sure that is just how we do it here.
Yeah.
There's a new person in, and I'm sure it's much like the locker room you first walked into when you visited Italy.
Yeah.
You walk into a locker room as the new guy on the team, or the guy that maybe might be joining the team, and everybody's going to come up. They're going to
Exactly.
shake your hand. You're not the competition, and in the sports locker rooms too. A lot of times you actually are because you're competing for playing time. You're competing for the roster spots, but you're better.
Yep.
And having a guy pushing you is going to be better. I think that's huge.
Exactly.
And with the partnership that you and I have had through the last few months in here, it's one of my tactics, for Dennis, just to dig a little deeper now, is one of the first things I do is I not making you earn my trust, I'm giving you my trust.
Yeah.
You have my trust the minute you walked in here. You can lose it real quick, but you have that trust. And it's like, yes, here's the keys. Here's that. You're always like, hey, can I get in there? Like, yeah, no, do what you want.
Yeah.
Trust you. Do what you want. And I want your wife to be here. I want you to work out here. I want your wife to work out here.
Yeah.
I want you to become part of this.
Yeah.
And that will, makes you feel better, makes me feel better, drives sales too. Like at the end of the day, it's not just all about being nice to each other. It is about
For sure.
turning some kind of profit.
Yeah. No, honestly.
It's cool with the culture like that you were saying, like that culture in this gym specifically is not necessarily just what you and your staff and your team are doing. It's the people that come here.
Yeah.
More so.
Yeah, it's more of that because
More
there's more.
so.
Like you get
There's
like
more of them than there are us.
yeah, that's what I mean. It's like
Exactly.
25 of them walk in, and it's like they're the ones setting the tone, kind of thing. It's amazing to be around it. It's so nice.
Yeah, like I think that's always been part of the focus. Is like if there's a saying. It's like if a team led by its coach can do great things. A team led by nobody will go nowhere. But a team led by its players will be great. Right?
Love
and
that.
that's like kind of butchered that quote, I'm sure, but that's the
the
strategy
idea.
behind
Yeah.
the garage gym. Like the members are our players. I'm just the coach.
Yeah.
I'm the GM, and my coaches are the coaches, right? But
Yeah.
we're providing some leadership, but it's them who drive the culture.
That's
here.
it.
And it's them that they're gonna have way more encounters with the person that comes in and squats next to them than they are with any coach.
True.
Yeah.
So they're gonna come back because of that person, not because of me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? I maybe I can be the icing on the cake. I can be the driver behind that, but that's what we want to focus on.
That's pretty sweet.
And well, that's how I think you should. That's what we teach my kids' baseball team.
True.
It's the same thing. I think that goes to a professional team. Like
100%.
You're
No.
doing that. I'm not.
100%. And that's the thing. As like you said, when I got to Italy, I don't know anyone there. I don't have a guy like, I played with him years ago. Like, no, I don't know anyone. And I walked in there, and it was like I was there for 6-7 years.
Oh, that's awesome.
First day, I had 12 guys take me out to dinner. Like, that's unbelievable. All right, we went to a spa, and then we went out to dinner. I'm like,
To a spa.
oh yeah, we went to a spa.
Hello, let's
And
go to the spa.
again. Like, yeah,
Welcome to Europe.
welcome to Europe. They helped me get my phone set up, and they're like, all right, we're gonna go to spa, then we're gonna go for dinner. I go spa. I'm like, okay. This spa was unbelievable. I'm up in the mountains, indoor, outdoor, hot tubs, cold tubs, snow room, like sauna. They did like
Snow room? What?
snow room. Yeah.
Say what?
What
Like
is
a room.
a snow room?
Say what?
It's exactly how it sounds. It's a room full of snow. So it's like a cold tub, but like it's like the opposite of a sauna, I guess you could say. It's just full of snow. Yeah, like it was.
Is it snowing? Is like Santa Claus hang out in there too?
Exactly,
Like,
man. It's wild. So I'm jet lagged. I'm tired, but I'm like in this spot. I'm like, this is so nice.
Yeah, for
then
sure.
I go to this tiny little family run restaurant. Had one of the best meals of my life. I'm like, this is. I think I'm gonna like this year.
Nona's cooking. To
Yeah, I
finish
think
the
I'm gonna
day.
like this year. It's gonna be alright. It's gonna be good.
Amazing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that is
Making me jealous. I gotta go to Europe, dude.
Come watch a game.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm
watch
gonna
a
go
game.
watch a game.
This has been a hell of an episode, man. It's been awesome having you on here, and I'm really looking forward to actually like keeping up with your career.
Yeah.
Maybe get Mike to watch. Maybe we'll watch a hockey game here one
What's
day.
a hockey game? I wouldn't even know what to
I
do.
gotta ask you guys though. What do you think about? We're talking about getting new swag. What do you think about this shirt?
I love
It's
it.
unbelievable.
I love how big
man.
the print is, and I love this dude's mustache. It's
Yeah. So
intense.
this is Pancho Villa, right? He was like basically the Robin Hood of Mexico.
Okay.
You gotta look him up. The story of this guy is incredible. This dude's all over that area of Mexico that we went. I'm like, I've heard that name, but I don't know anything about it. And how he basically like fought the country and was always giving back to the people.
Okay.
And that's how he rose up and basically becomes a government official. I think he ends up being assassinated by this guy here, Lefty. So it's
Come
like Pancho
on.
and Lefty. But I was like, man, Mike and I do this pose.
Yeah, buddy.
In this shirt, like Danny hates this shirt. Like, she makes so much fun of me. I'm walking. Imagine me walking around. I got this shirt on and like my little speedo shorts. You can't even tell. It doesn't even look like I'm wearing underwear. Right? I'm just wearing this t-shirt.
But hey,
But I love it. So
That's
anyway, I
awesome,
think
man.
you and I in this pose would
let's
be
do
the
it.
winner because Lisa asked about the Christmas calendar.
Yeah. She wanted to know
Come
the
on.
Christmas counter.
So
There you
I mean,
go.
if there's sales to be had and listeners to be won by us doing a calendar,
If
we
you
start
need,
with this picture.
if we're making a calendar, you gotta give me
the
like.
picture. We're good.
I just want to see a side by side after. That's
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
I just want to see a side by side.
The calendar sales. Sales blew up that year.
Let's do it.
Cinco de Mayo, man. It could be the month of May.
Yeah,
you go.
absolutely. That's the month of May. Our calendar. You're bang on here. You're bang on.
I love that.
So,
That's great.
Amazing.
Yeah, I guess this shirt is sick, man.
Yeah. So, anyways, Cristiano, back to you. I know that you're taking off this week.
Yeah.
You've got a new house, new wife, all kinds of things. So you need to carve out an hour for us today. Cancel your skate.
Yeah.
And I know you're going golfing like right now, right?
No, I
So-
canceled it. I said, I
canceled
got
it
there's
too?
too much stuff going on, man. Too
Oh,
much
man.
stuff.
Damn. Well, we
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Oh, what do you got to pack? A couple of pairs of t-shirts. and
That's it.
Everything
Yeah.
else is gonna be team swag, right?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Just go over
Surprise,
with the
yeah.
backpack.
I wish, man. I wish.
Yeah.
That's the worst part, lugging everything over in Europe. Plus my hockey bag, sticks, right? But
Wow.
I get it done, guys. I can't thank you enough. One, for being on, being able to chat with you guys, but again, also just being here in the garage gym and having this summer. It's been amazing. It's been an unbelievable experience. I've done this for 6 years now in Hamilton. Coming to the Windsor area, I wasn't sure how it was going to be, and it was an absolute perfect fit. And I wish I could have done a lot more. Like I said, I got married this year. I bought a new house. I've been renovating, but
Busy man.
I'm hoping for next summer I can really share my experiences with more kids, more guys in the area, and and help these kids develop and be a mentor to them like I had, and see them go on to junior, see them go on to pro hockey, and like you guys said, watching me, I get to watch them now, and it's rewarding in a sense where we put in the work in the summer here, and the next year they have record-setting years, and it's a testament to their hard work, but also a bit to me being able to work with them too. So
Absolutely, you got it. It's sometimes we put it all, and we do want to give the athletes, we do want to give the people here, but you are the person laying out that map, man, and you're the one who keeps them kind of held to it, which is very important, and you're doing good things. So it's been awesome having you here in the gym for sure, and like it's kind of funny. It's like you guys only see each other in passing when we shoot the podcast.
Yeah.
I don't really see you that much, but how you can become friends with somebody in a short period of time at different ages, different, all different back. A guy doesn't even fucking watch a hockey game in his life.
That's
A guy who's playing in Italy, and then an old washed up football player, and we can all be friends and have like connections and jokes. And we were so bummed that we didn't get to your bachelor party, though. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It was a blast, man.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, the wedding we could do without, but we wanted to come to the bachelor.
That's
party.
it, eh?
Mike snuck his wedding in. I'm screwed everywhere.
Yeah, but we're gonna get
I got
you.
no bachelor parties to go to. Guys, I only have a few more of these left in my life. Only have a few more friends who have not, and you guys ruined it for me.
God damn it.
Oh,
Hey,
Sorry,
we got
bro.
plenty of years for some good times, man.
Yes,
Plenty of
man.
years
So
for good
We gotta
times.
go to a
Please.
trip to Italy, bro.
Please,
That's it.
please, yes. Trip to Italy. We're down.
Amazing.
We got to go film the podcast there.
Bill, yeah, on site.
Yeah, sneak it in my hockey bag on the way on Saturday.
Perfect.
Love it. So you guys are looking to hook up with Cristiano. You can follow him. Go through our Instagram. You can find his performance in there very easily, or reach out to us directly, and we'll set you up. You won't be back till next summer, but already taking clients.
That's it.
Right? We'll set you up. We'll figure something out in the meantime to kind of, he's got his online services as well for those of you who are not in season. But anyways, everybody, thank you for listening. As always, please go do all those things. Like, follow, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Give us a 5-star rating. And we are over and out.
Peace.
See ya.